All right, hello and welcome to week number 6 of my free-to-play account. So I'm excited to go through the updates this week because it's felt like I've made a decent amount of progress, and finally things that I've been waiting on being completed have started to come online in terms of my account, and starting to see a good bit of return from some of the early investments. So excited to go through things. I think because you race through the track to level 85, if that's the right word, I don't think it is, you get to level 85 so quickly, just over a week. I think that the period afterwards can feel a little bit slow while you're waiting on certain things, mostly ability materials, to get farmed, just because that could be very slow, because normally it wouldn't have mattered because you would have done it before level 85 before, but now you're up and running, but you're just waiting on a few things coming online, but now they are. So the big change or update is in fleet. So if we head on over to ships, and I mentioned last week that I was just waiting on the reinforcement ability for B-Wing to get unlocked, and that's just because the materials are really slow to farm very early on free to play. There's not a lot of great sources, but finally, I think a day or two after the update last week, I got this ability unlocked, and then I think another ability on the home one, which meant that I had a bare minimum home one fleet, and I'll show you what I've been running. But first, I thought it would be interesting to look at where I was last week in terms of rank, because we have moved up a fair amount, which is exciting. Yeah, so here is where I was in last week's video, rank 336, and that is, I think I just joined the fleet relatively low down, wasn't really able to progress with what I had at the start, and was basically waiting on the B-Wing and its reinforcement ability to come online. But now if we head on over to my current fleet rank, you can see that we have made quite the jump in the last week, and that is almost entirely down to having that reinforcement ability. So I do have some thoughts and maybe things that I could do differently next time to get that reinforcement ability a little bit quicker. And it does revolve around that cargo fleet mission that comes up sometimes that rewards prestige and reinforcement abilities, but you need to farm specifically cargo ships. So if we're being really optimal, it might be farming a couple of those to 3 stars just to be able to do that event early on and get those reinforcement abilities a little bit quicker. Wouldn't have made a huge difference, might have accelerated things by about a week, but we're here now, we have the ability. And if we head on over to Fleet Arena, I'm not going to climb it just yet because it's not my payout, but just to show you what I've been running, and it's a bit of a hybrid monster at the moment. So we have B-Wing and reinforcements, and I'll just show you what abilities I have. I think I have pretty much all of them. I don't yet have this one, which might be nice to have, but I wouldn't say is critical. It does really, these abilities really rely on doing this move twice in a row, which is fairly rare, I would say. The important ones are of course the reinforcement ability. The basic as well is kind of nice, getting offense up and also target lock at the earlier ones, and this one's also quite nice as well. Doing as many assists as you possibly can is pretty nice, because that's one of the ways you get foresight, I believe. And then also Raven's Claw is the other really important ship, and I've been able to get the basic up to ability 8, which dispels debuffs, and also the unique, which lets people with foresight, if that loads up, lets non-scoundrel rebel ships with foresight ignore taunt effects, which could be handy for getting around hound's teeth, we'll call them, which I only just applied today, so I haven't really made use of it. and the rest of the lineup is just the Empire ships I was using for the ship ability material event. And the reason for that is because, I guess, first of all, I don't really have many other options. Still a bit of farming to do. But second to that is that both of these ships can deal target lock, which synergizes quite well with the Raven's Claw in particular. And also they're just solid. This has a dispel which could be handy. So does this has an AoE dispel, can be good against other rebel ships. So they actually work pretty well, and because they're not scoundrels, it allows all of the abilities to work, which is great. Anakin's ship could be another one. I just don't really have any investment, as you can see, in terms of the abilities yet. But I think if I level this up a little bit, the AoE does... I don't know why it's not. The AoE does buff immunity, which could be an important counter against Hound's Teeth. Doesn't sound right calling them Hound's Teeth, but I guess that's a plural, which could be handy. So in terms of what I've been able to beat, still a little bit away from beating things like these negotiator ships just because of the sheer amount of relics on them. But I know from my other account with Home 1 that eventually becomes pretty easy. Just, I think I'll probably need the whole rebel fleet up and running, but I've been able to beat some other Home 1s. I do struggle a bit in the Home 1 mirror, just because I might be the only like non-hyperdrive bundle person here, and that basically means is that the Home 1 I'm going up against will always go before me. And if they do bring out B-Wing, that can be a bit of a disaster. So, and I've still got some of the ship ability materials to do. The ship ability events to get Home 1 to 7 stars, that still needs to be done. I am working on that, but that's just consequence of being free to play. But really happy that I'm able to get at least top 20. And for the past 3 days, I've been able to dip into the top 10 to get those 200 crystals. And I'm continuing to invest into the fleet, which I'll just go over in a second. So yeah, really happy with actually getting a crystal income from this already, and at the very least being in the top 20. And yeah, I guess I can try show a battle. I might struggle just because I can just about get into the top 10 at the moment, but just like these are relic lightspeed bundle hyperdrive accounts, they're just too many relics at the moment for me to handle. But I guess we can give it a go. Hopefully I don't bump anyone from their payout, but I'm probably not going to win, so not going to be much of an issue. Right, so yeah, as simple as B-Wing in at the start. What will happen is I'll probably get stuck behind the Hound's Tooth, so I'll just start by targeting it anyway. Get some turn meter. Another thing is this ability. So I've been leveling up the ability that gives turn meter, and before it wasn't really helping me go ahead of everyone else, but slowly but surely I've been getting prestige and been able to level that up a bit. Yeah, so the issue comes there, but we should be able to get some foresight up in Ravensclaw, which is good. I think I've done this a little bit suboptimally, to be honest. But let's at least try get this get the first bit of it done. Yeah, I just need more power at the start essentially, and good reinforcements to call in. So I think I will get there in terms of beating these guys. Just they have a little bit of a head start on me, unfortunately. I guess we can ignore taunt there, which is good. I have breach, so that probably won't work. I'll just dispel it anyway. Yeah, I'm definitely not playing this as I should. But as you can see, it's not like a complete massacre at the start, at least. So I think bit more improvement will definitely help things. Get the order of operations in a bit better as well. Will help. So yeah, I think we'll probably end up there. Just wanted to show a battle, and this is I'm stopped at the top 10, but yeah, like could get rid of a decent number of ships, and yeah, just a little bit more firepower at the start will be, I guess we may as well see how far we can go. I think, yeah, now that I've lost the Raven's Claws, I may as well forfeit at this point and move on with the video. So yeah, what else do I need to do in terms of ships? So my focus has been on unlocking the fleet ability challenges, which I'm nearly there. So I have all 6 stars. Apart from TIE Advance, which is nearly there, I just need a 5-star Slave 1 in order to get 6-star Executrix, and then should be able to do that event and then get those extra ship Omegas. So you can see I'm nearly done. That's just, I want to get that done and accumulating over time, just because these can be such a huge bottleneck. So just wanted to make sure that was done first of all, and it hasn't really set me back too much in terms of the Home 1 fleet, because I'm still able to use it with the Empire ships, which is good. But once I've finished with that, my next focus will be on getting the Home 1 fleet up and running, and also getting the Home 1 up to 7 stars. So I will need 6 5-star Rebel ships, which I am working on anyway because of working on the Home 1 fleet. So I already have Rebel B-Wing, Raven's Claw is getting there. I'll probably also take up Anakin's ship, which is a relatively easy farm. Ghost as well, I'm working on Biggs, and now that Galactic War currency is freed up, because I was spending it on things like the 2 Empire ships, but now I'll be able to really focus on Biggs. So these will give me 5, and then I've got Cassian's U-Wing, which is a very easy farm, already at 6 stars. So then I'll be able to get a 6-star Home 1, and then I will be able to eventually do somewhere in here this, which requires 3 6-star light ships, which I should be able to do. So yeah, good progress there in terms of my actual Home 1 fleet. So I'm now going to fully focus on getting B-Wing just as a tank. Also does target lock, which is good, and is a very easy ship to farm up. So I'll eventually replace the Empire ships. I'm still a little bit undecided of whether to go for Ghost or Cassian's U-Wing. Cassian's U-Wing, I would say, is the better ship there, but Ghost will be, I'm just a little bit closer to it because of the Lightspeed tokens, and I'm not working on Profundity straight away, so don't necessarily want to put Gear 12 into all of these guys, whereas putting Gear 12 into like Kanan is quite a good investment, because will work well as part of my Phoenix team. So I'm still a little bit undecided. I think I will start off with Ghost and then work away on the Cassian's U-Wing in the background, and maybe sub that in at some point in the future. And then there's still various like abilities that I need to apply across all of the ships. Home 1, I do have Adrad Relic 3, which is the Leia requirement, but as you can see, like, this master plan is still not fully leveled up. I don't think I'll need it to be fully leveled up, because it's currently giving 50% turn meter, which is good. I think I'd obviously just want it as high as possible. So yeah, really happy with the ship progress, and it means I can start to move on to other things. So let's go to the farms. Right, so these guys, not really much has changed apart from farming Calcatarn shards. Biggs, now that Galactic War store currency has freed up a bit, I'm now working on his shards, and we'll get to Relic 7. I've also been farming the gear needed to take him up to Gear 13. Even though most of the green crosses aren't there, I do actually have the majority of the gear, and just waiting on a few like little bits and pieces across all of them, which will come after this raid. I'm still not 100% sure I want to apply the gear to take him up to gear 13. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hoard the gear, and I'm going to try the home one in Fleet Arena with just a gear 12 bigs, see how well I get on. If I am really struggling, if it constantly gets targeted and wiped out, I will then just apply the gear 13s. But I'm going to be a little bit conservative with this approach, just because if I can get away with not taking him to relics, that would be good, just because I'm not going for Jedi Master Luke anytime soon. But at the end of the day, getting like top 5, top 3, top 1 Fleet Arena is more important for those crystals, and if taking bigs to relics helps me do that, then I'm completely happy to do that. And then also just slowly work on these two to gear 12, which should be quite straightforward. And then, as I mentioned last week, the focus is on Leia. So in terms of the order I'm going to do things, I'm actually going to focus on these guys first, because they're already at relics, so that will free up gear 12 stuff for my home one fleet while I still work on that. And also because these guys here that I need to take to relics just aren't that useful. They're really only useful to get Leia. I guess like Ewoks I will probably target next to get C3PO for the CLS team, but they're all not great. What will be more impactful is getting these guys up to their relic requirements for Leia, just because especially with Relic Delta I'll be able to make quite a bit of use out of them in GAC and other game modes. So that'll be like taking Captain Rex to R7, taking Commander Luke up to R7, R2D2 probably less important, but also I will eventually apply the droid lightspeed token on 3PO and Chewie, and will also take them up to R7. So which means I will be spending Mark II raid currency on Electrum Conductors and Zimbados, and also doing some refreshes on Cantina energy now that I actually have some crystals to spend. So I'm going to do things a bit backward, focus on the relics first, and then once sort of gear 12 is freed up and Mark II raid currency is freed up, I'll focus on these guys. And it also means I can hold off a little bit longer just in case like other lightspeed tokens pop up that I can use on these guys. I'm not expecting them to, but may as well take that approach just because they won't be doing anything for me in terms of GAC. Maybe Ewoks, maybe in Carbonite GAC, but it won't be that much of an impact. In terms of what I'm farming at the moment, that is just Wicket, Hoth Rebel Soldier for the Leia mission in Hoth territory battles, Hera Syndulla, that is just if I have extra energy, I want to get the ghost up and running a little bit quick, so I'll just spend extra energy just on one go at this. So I probably want to avoid spending things like get one, so that's the plan there. In terms of energy, so I'm still not 100% sure, so at the moment I'm getting between 100 and 200. I've actually been getting 200 a day the last few days from Fleet, so which means I can afford more refreshes, which means I'll be doing at least one Cantina energy. So on average, I'll be getting about 400 crystals if you take into account other sources. So 100 or 200 on Cantina, maybe split the rest across, a bit more focus on Fleet just to farm things like relic material now that I have access to these nodes. So I'll hopefully be able to accelerate my progress towards getting relics as I start to switch my focus from Home 1 on to farming Leia. Another use of crystals will eventually be for Coliseum. I'm not going to invest too heavily in this era of Coliseum. I've done a little bit. I think I've spent like 1,000 crystals just to see how far that gets me. I'm still hovering like between top 100 and well, between around the 90 region, but I think as time goes on, I'll just drop further and further back, because this is a free-to-play account, so I don't have access to the extra quests that help you go through the episode track quicker and get these rewards at the end more often, which means I'll just have to spend more crystals on error currency at the end in order to keep up with people buying the episode pass. And I think just given the early stages of this account and the fact that I'm already relatively low down in the leaderboard, I don't think it'll be worth it for this era. But I'll look to build up a bit of a supply and spend a little bit more aggressively next era once my account's had a little bit of time to get up and running, because getting those extra rhodium lightspeed tokens will be huge. I'm sort of between 1 and 2 tokens at the moment. As I mentioned, these will likely be for things like Scout Trooper and Nisa, so I'll most likely have 2 tokens to spend for Leia, maybe a third depending on how things shake out at the end of the era. So yeah, happy with the progress there. I guess in terms of other things, Guild is continuing to go strong, still doing the same 450,000 in the raid, and also I think we have a couple of spots open at the moment, so if you are free to play and are interested in joining what's a very active and committed guild, I'll leave the link to the Discord server in the video description below for anyone interested. Yeah, it's a small guild, but it's a very active and growing guild, full, if I can speak today, of free-to-play players. So yeah, it's quite a fun guild to be part of, to be honest. GAC, at this stage, it's I'm just taking my 10 points. Like, I mean, this isn't the worst account in the world. It's just too much for my 1 million account with hardly any investment in actual ground teams at this point to handle. So if they show up, I do well. If they don't show up, I do well, but if they do, I do struggle. All right, so I think that's it in terms of the account. Just head on over to my stats for the week. All right, here are the stats at the moment. So a good bit of progress. GP hasn't really gone up that much this week. That's just because I think I've been mostly focused on getting like shipability materials and haven't made that many investments in terms of characters, but that will come over the next few weeks. Return of the People, I think we've got a couple of spots open, so no overall increase, but the average has definitely gone up. Mod score, I've been very lucky on this account with some good mod rolls. I haven't made that many mod rolls, but I think I've already got 2 plus 25 speed mods, which has really inflated my mod score just because my account is still so small. So decent mod score at the moment. I don't see this increasing quite as much in the future. Guild raid continues to creep up, which is good. Guild is now doing geo territory battles, which is very good, getting those watt shards. And then competitive stuff, still Carbonite 4, that's probably not going to change. If anything, I might go into Carbonite 5 at some point. Fleet rank, that is the big change. I've got it here up 257, but that's because I don't think I updated my rank for last time correctly. It was really up like 300 and something, so getting those extra 200 crystals a day, which is fantastic, which means I can spend a lot more on refreshes and save for things like the era, buying material, maybe taking characters to 4 stars, not now and probably not in the next era, but maybe eventually in the future. So yeah, no real change in terms of assault battles, but yeah, I think that does take it to the end of the update this week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.